Hockeytown celebrated 3 championships in 7 years, and rarely has someone so tough played so pivotal a part.
McCarty draws. McCarty in. McCarty scores! A magnificent goal! Darren McCarty! Show that play. Lariano. Shanahan. There it is. He scores! The Red Wings have defeated Colorado. Darren McCarty. Here's a break at center. McCarty. Up four. McCarty. Scores! Darren McCarty!
Here's Wolpe and McCarty in. McCarty scores!
I love you, but you're a mess.
I am a mess. I'm a work in progress, I guess you could say. Well, there it is, the intro. I am still a work in progress, and it must be Wednesday. Welcome, Wednesday, July 24th. Happy birthday, Nichelle Leslie Marshall. You're 26. Your mother and I love you very much. 7:42, we're kicking this one off, and wow, this is going to be a good one. I mean, taking after last week's show, thank you again to Mike Vellucci for being in studio. What's your nephew's name? Ryan?
Ryan. Yep.
Ryan Vellucci also in studio. Best of luck in Wilkes-Barre this year in the AHL with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and to Dylan Playfair. Riley of Letterkenny fame, which I tell everybody, if you haven't seen Letterkenny, it's on Hulu and Crave TV, or you can just YouTube it like Google or anything else you do in life. But hilarious. We'll get to more of that. So it's a Wednesday, joined as always by my co-host. You were better last week. This week, not so much.
I tried, though.
Perry Vellucci, you did. The effort's there. How are you, Perry?
I'm doing good, Mac.
Dude, just quickly, because we were talking off air, is that, because everybody knows that Perry drives limo for Rockstar's Limousine, our boy Eric Reitz, which we might hear from a little later on to enter. That might have been our guest.
We will hear
that might have
from
been
him.
our guest.
We will hear from
explained
him.
later. But you said you've driven, the last week, but you got to start getting pictures. And I said you got to start posting them to the locker room so we can show them. Because who did you have? You drove. Don't tell me about your friends and don't tell me about the concerts, but you drove some.
Yeah, last Friday morning I picked up the ambassador, the Taiwanese ambassador to Honduras, came into town for her daughter's wedding, her and her husband.
Goddamn diplomatic Perry driving people around. Look at that. So remember that. Rockstar's Limousine, if you want to get Perry. I know. Look at Perry. Perry's trying to outdo me this summer, McCool. What do you think of that? That's bullshit. Anyways, joined always Bam Bam on the ones and twos. Bam Bam, how was your golf trip? Win any money? Everything good? Good weekend? Yeah? Raw reunion?
Raw reunion was good.
I love the end. We're going to talk about it in a minute.
Talk.
I'm going to bring it up in a
good.
minute. I love the end. I was talking to Isis earlier about it. Anybody who saw the Raw reunion, 25 years of Raw, the longest running, whatever they bought.
Episodic television
Yeah,
show.
well, I don't give a shit. But
And-
all the good guys were back.
Yeah, and I'm still pissed that I lost to you in Chipping. I'm pissed.
Oh, dude, we'll get to that later.
I mean, I'm still...
That's not even the golf part of the program, but I forgot that old Bam Bam came over to the house and experienced just a
The Mac
fucking
experience.
drubbing of the short game by D-Mac.
Just not a fan, that's all.
Just not a fan of my short game or short game in general?
Just losing.
Yeah, well, you're hanging out with me, you'll get used to it. Also on the program, this is really special, and like you said, but Daryl Boulin, who I've known for a lot of years, we'll get into that, but you drafted by Colorado. Were you traded to us in Detroit?
No, Jimmy Devillano.
Jimmy
Found me in
D.
the shower.
Nice.
Down in St. Mike's, he was talking to Matty Ellis every day in the shower. Weird, but I went in there and stretched and showed him my stuff after the game. On the ice, right? I knew he was around, so yeah, Jimmy Devillano found me, and I mean, obviously, my saying is always that Colorado's a little too French for me, so I got out of there, and then I ended up playing for the Eagles for years. But no, it was a good draft year. But signed with you guys in the summer.
Yeah, so we met. We were just talking about this. Is that you came to training camp after we won in 2002?
Yes, sir.
And the first time we met was at the wonderful. Speaking of this, here's a friggin' free shout out, Scotty boy.
Oh,
Go to Dillinger's.
I still got
He's
his
still
number.
up there, right?
Oh, I've talked to the boys in TC a bunch, but
Good. You should, because they love it. Make sure if you're up at Dillinger's, you got to stop. And that's a landmark place. Is it not a landmark
remember
place?
Chris Caddy, too? Chris Caddy.
Oh,
was,
yeah.
Yeah, so Chris Caddy and I for years. And then, man, the other guy's name's... But I went up there years ago when I was with Kalamazoo, and we texting a few friends, getting taken care of up there. So you always get taken care of in Traverse City, man. I mean, I got a deal for my parents for years still at that Bay City resort. Great guy there, Scott, that owns that one too. So, you know what I mean? I treat you like family still to this day. And, I had 6 years like you, not like you, but I had 6 years. So it was.
But in the organization, and you got up a bit. When I went to Calgary and I was hurt, and we crossed paths, and obviously now if anybody, you played the majority of your career up and down.
You can say it. I was an East
or in Europe.
I was an AHL All-Star. You can say it.
You were. You were very
27
good.
Genos, 390 pimps.
Yeah, but
still
here's
hold
the
the
thing
record.
about-
Grand Rapids Griffins all-time
Here's the
penalty
thing
minute
about
leader.
Booter. If
No
you're gonna,
big
and
deal.
I'm gonna give it to you real, right? So you got Proby, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Right, and then you got D-Mac, which is like Baby Bob, and then you got Booter, which is like, a
Baby
small
Mac. You
version
can
Mini
say
Mac.
you can say
Exactly.
Baby Mac. I'll take that all day.
I
baby.
love it. Because hey, you want to tell everybody first time we met?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
Spill it.
I mean,
Spill it because it's apropos to this day. See, I knew it back then.
Yeah.
Even more so.
yeah. I mean, well, so Boyd Devereaux and I were good friends. I knew him playing. He played against my brother Junior a lot, and I hung out at Dillinger's a few times, maybe in rookie camp that year. Just ended up there. I don't know, for dinner or something. I don't know what happened, but got to know a few of the boys there pretty well. Chris Cowdy, Beauty, shout out, and Scott himself, yeah. So, I may have spent a few nights at rookie camp in that apartment upstairs. You know what happens. I mean, but went upstairs when main camp started, and saw a couple of guys in the hallway I didn't expect to see. That was for sure. But getting acquainted with a few guys I didn't think I would in the organization. But I went upstairs and old Mac was sitting on the couch and Boydie Devereaux was playing the guitar. And I just got the text from Boydie like, "Hey, come upstairs to Chris's," And I went upstairs thinking I'm going up there to see Boyd Devereaux, and I walk in there, old Mac sitting on the couch just getting us all ready. So I was pretty excited to be a Red Wing that day. I'll tell you that much. That was already when I almost got kicked off the course condo unit because I was staying at the girls that worked there. They had their own house in the middle of the golf course. Actually.
So Booter, is it safe to say, like, and here's the thing, right? Because you ended up playing, 16 years, right? You're up, down, whatever, like that. So anybody who doesn't know, it's safe to say that you've had some good times.
I was living on the edge, buddy.
Living on the edge, but
edge.
So. The thing I want to get across the Grind Time with Darren McCarty audience is but where you're at right now, just coming out of the game. I remember that was 10 years ago. So it's cyclical because it's funny because you're the 10 years behind me because I'm 92 to 09 and you're 02 to 18. So you're just starting into this next portion of your life, right?
Oh yeah, about 7 jobs deep so far.
Well, yeah. So what is it? Is it okay? And are you 7 jobs deep because you like doing different things, or you haven't found something that you want to do, or it just enables you to do a lot of different things? Because the one thing about you is you're like me. You're a people person. You like people. You like coordinating people. I know that any team that you were on, and people that are here that are listening to you in Grand Rapids or knew you down there. I know when I played, even go to the day, there's still Bootland jerseys in the stands. You left your mark on and off the ice there.
Oh, definitely off, and I mean, yes, on it a little bit for sure.
So, as far as you're at right now, name some of the things that you're doing because it's amazing because it's not like you're just doing a couple menial things, which will bring and with what you're doing here this week.
Yes, for sure.
But you were telling me.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I ended my career in Orlando there, and I kind of knew it was the end, and got one more year out of Orlando, and Colorado had a bunch of different politics things that came up, and you know, you're getting a house and then you're not getting a house and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, to go to Orlando for one more year, it was a good decision for me to get, you know, get to live the dream for 20 more games. But, you know, after that was done, you know, it was midway through the season. So, you know, they gave me the option to be a coach or go play somewhere else. And, you know, I helped out as the coach to try to get that experience. I mean, Drake Barhowski and John Snowden were the coaches at the time. And, I mean, obviously Drake had a great hockey career. And John I played against him in the minors for years. And it was a great opportunity.
So what did you learn about with that experience behind stepping on the bench to learn if that's for you or not?
Well, it was almost one of those perfect situations where I was around and I was there. And then, you know, at home games I did the radio, but then I got to go on the road and be that assistant coach, you know, and I mean.
Did you ever use the earpiece?
No, not on the bench yet. I was begging. I was begging.
Nice. But you wanted to, right?
I was begging.
I love it. I knew you would. I would.
I was gonna bring out the Scotty Bowman shoes if they got me on the bench.
Dude, you should have been chopping ice and everything.
Yeah, he knew it.
What's the significance behind the earpiece? Just the look?
Just the You're
look at the fact you can talk to somebody upstairs.
I mean, I would have took an iPad the way they are now. It wouldn't even have worked in the East Coast, but I just look good. You know? Yeah. No, you know, it was a great experience, obviously, but you know, the wife had a great job at the time, and I mean, minor pro, so it's with one of the great sponsorship. It's one of the great sponsorships, right? That you meet through the team, and the wife had a great job, so we tried to stay there. You know, she's got 80 family members in Texas, so you know, it was kind of one of those things where it was, when is it gonna be back to Texas, and you know.
So it was inevitable to go back to Texas? So
eventually, but you know, I was the weekend security guard at the downtown bar in Orlando.
You were. So you started.
I didn't want to leave, boys. I didn't want to leave.
So you dug her in. That's the one thing.
I didn't know I could choke guys out, bro. I'm sick choking guys out. Like,
nice.
My first knife on me, I choked that guy out in like 7 seconds. I didn't even know what happened. I blacked out, bro. Like I mean, it was a knife pulled on you, and it was a homeless dude on the street.
It's just,
hey, how you doing?
You
good to meet you. Good,
act
good
or react.
Sorry.
Act or react.
It's habit. It happens. But
no, absolutely.
No, it was a great time, to be honest with you. I loved every minute of it. But when the helicopters are flying over your house once a week, you kind of get enough of it with 2 daughters and a son at 13, right? So, yeah, we had to get back to the family and the 80 members and the free daycare and, you know.
Well, hey, so, life resumes, right?
Yeah.
Is
and
that
you know
what
me, whatever's going to happen is I play the cards I'm dealt, bro. I was a minor pro guy. I started at the top, and now I'm here, you know. Like, I get it. So, you know, I play the cards, and, you know, we didn't know what we were going to do when we got back. You know, we had a couple options with jobs and families and stuff, and then just randomly find caddy masters, and now I'm working at Tiger Woods' golf course. You
Talk
know?
About that. Which course is that?
It's Blue Jack National.
You said it's just epic, right?
It's number 1 in Texas, and it's 8 in the United States right now, but it's only 6 years old. So they don't usually let Golf Digest come in to check how good the course is for like the first 10 years.
What were you saying? There's one rule out there?
Yeah. J.R. Smith's my caddy for
J.R. Smith, who is for Cleveland Cavaliers back in the day with LeBron James.
Obama tells you to keep your shirt on.
Yeah, taking his shirt off.
Like
with
the guy
all
don't wear a shirt. He was at a celebrity baseball game. He didn't have a freaking shirt on, right? And the only rule is keep your shirt on. Like it's legit. Like for anybody that's got the money, man, it's the course to be a member at. Like George Bush is number 2 member. You know, I haven't met number 1 yet, but like I mean, it's. Like,
how many members at this course?
They only have 150 right now.
Wow.
And it's like, I'm trying to get the assistant manager job, you know, so let's get some members in there. Maybe get the marketing job too, boy.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. So what else? So
well, I sell diamonds. I mean, I've done that for 7 years out of Dallas. I hit diamonds at cost. I met a
how do people get a hold of you if they're looking for diamonds?
Hey, I'm Bootland27 at yahoo.com.
Bootland27 at yahoo.com.
Yeah, I got a guy. He's from Calgary, born in Calgary.
Yeah.
Beauty. He's JP Volk Incorporated. Diamonds Incorporated, JP Volk Diamonds Incorporated, but I met him playing shinny hockey. You know, the Ludwig family. They're a big family down in Dallas, obviously. The 2 brothers, they're twins, so I played with them and Alan in the Central Hockey League. So we won a couple of championships. They won like 5 in a row. and they switched from the Circus Hockey League, Central Hockey League over
The Circus Hockey
over
League?
to the East Coast. I mean, bro, you don't even know. You ain't seen shit like that. Like our bus had fucking. It looked mean, bro.
You were out of slap shot.
I was Crash Davis, bro.
I love it.
Yeah,
You were Crash
yeah,
Davis.
for sure, 100%. Yeah. So, but no, Alan. I mean, I met him playing shinny hockey, and I was his muscle when I worked there. After practice, I'd go grab my Cordoba and I'd go deliver diamonds for him. And met him playing. Sold myself to him at shinny hockey, bro. You can't be collecting $200,000. I mean, I carried a $200,000 Beamer logo that was on a magnet, and the guy lost it. So I had to deliver it to his house, and I got followed a couple times, blacked out fucking Tahoes or Beamers. They learn your routes, and they follow you and shit. And I'd have to drive straight back to his office, and he'd be waiting outside with his shotgun. But yeah, I mean, that only happened once, but it was awesome. I thought I'd throw that in there.
Let's just say the adrenaline. So anybody that like you're obviously, like I said, this style of play is like mine. So the game was. I always say
Baby
that
Mac,
you
baby.
poor bastard. You were 10 years too late.
I mean, there's only
what did you say?
Two legends that have told me this now, okay? And it was an honor to get it signed on a stick from Mike Keane.
Mike Keane, even though he's one of the respectable Avalanche
yes, for
guys.
sure.
Exactly,
But,
good dude. And
yes.
you played with him in Manitoba.
I fought him with Grand Rapids. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of my favorite fights in my life. I mean, I got the wily veteran Mike Keane, the legend Mike Keane. We're righty.
Lefty,
and
eh?
I'm right up to him, and I start off like a righty, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking, right? But I'm taped on my hand. I remember my fingers broken, ripping off the tape, and we're ready to go, and I'm like, you old fuck. You're not going to touch me, you old fuck. Just giving it to him. But, I mean, we became great friends. We obviously played together in Manitoba, and, he told me the same thing. I was 10 years too late. I was too old school for the league, and Kenny Holland might have mentioned that when he said, don't be the next Darren McCarty.
There you go, right here, Booter. Up for the grind time. Yeah, right, exactly. Up for the grind time with Darren McCarty fans here. A little shake
look at that. I got a full head of hair. Look at that. It's
Where'd
beautiful.
you get that, kid?
I don't know where it went.
Look, you're chirping him. You're chirping him. Oh, nice job. You're chirping him as you.
He gets a few in. I'm not going to lie to you, but.
Well, he's supposed to. I told you he's a
lefty on lefty. We're going punch for punch. But yeah, I mean, you get into it. The worst part is the Manitoba announcer's announcing, and he just makes me look bad.
Of course he does, because they can't hear.
Yeah, well, they're out there on the boat there. They don't hear the same there, buddy. Yeah, Bootland's off balance. I look off balance, don't I?
Oh, he gave you credit.
Yeah, I get the arm out here, right? I get it out of the jersey, and then I just fist his face about 5-6 times. Yeah, that's the old face punch competition.
How's a good bout? Back in the day when they used to fight. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, so
that was
you were mad picking on the old guy out there?
Well, that was his later years, right? So
no, I mean he was like
didn't
42
fight.
there.
Yeah, he didn't fight for fucking
Ever.
6, maybe 4 years against me, right? So then I finally got him to go, right? So that was it. That was like, I mean, that was my moment in Manitoba. That
It
got
took
me a
you
contract.
5 years
It got me a
to
contract.
get him to fight.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Like how many chirps?
I won't
'Cause you like to
exaggerate.
chirp,
I don't
bro, right?
exaggerate. Oh yeah, you hear me. You know what I mean? It was. I would go deep. I wouldn't go as deep as Abe's. Like,
Okay,
I'm not
there.
going-
You brought it up,
yeah,
right? Because
here we go.
Here's the thing, right? There it is, guys. I don't know if he brought it
Yeah.
out. Ding, ding. Abe's, Sean Avery, ladies and gentlemen, number 42. That's right? So I want you to talk about Abe's because dude, did you see his bike video?
Oh yeah,
dude.
Oh yeah.
But that's Sean.
I keep up. Yeah.
Sean being Sean. Do you still talk to him?
No, we don't talk. We were friends. Like he would never fight me straight up in junior. He jumped me 4 or 5 times in junior, and then we didn't really cross paths in pro. But my favorite story is when I finally get the call up from, so obviously I had such a good time in Grand Rapids or in Traverse City that once I finally get down to Grand Rapids and I'm not Bobby Big Wheel in Traverse City anymore, I get sent down to Toledo my first year, right?
Right.
Get the old brand new Denali and I wheel up to the portable in the back of the Toledo Sports Arena. I don't, no joke, cried my eyes out. I'm going back into grade 6 here to play pro hockey, in my brand new Denali. But best teammate ever. I mean, my teammates didn't have cell phones. I bought them all 2-way radios so we could talk in the fucking at the apartments we lived in. Right.
So talk about that because how much fun it was.
Oh, yeah.
So listen, because my most fun that I had I mean, obviously, as when you turn pro, it's different, but in the minors. Like the year in the minors, and then when I went back to the minors in 09, but in 92, it was the toughest team, but also we did everything together. And even so back, like you said, you're broke, you make nothing. It's like,
I show up, and I don't know what I'm getting into in the East Coast Hockey League.
Like, who was your teammates then?
Well, so I watched my brother play with
Right.
the Hershey Bears. So I'm thinking pro life. I go to Grand Rapids. It's the first year in the AHL. I'm like, I signed for $200,000. I'm not going down to the East Coast. These motherfuckers, I think I'm the shit. I'm a good looking dude. So I get, obviously, first party out with Grand Rapids, and the boys want to get the rookie to give the girls a lap dance, and fucking I'm the rookie. Sign me up.
You're more than eager.
Oh yeah. I mean,
usually, you guys had to change things for you, like Booter. I mean,
slow down,
because
Booter.
it's like,
slow down,
I'll
Booter.
do it. What do I gotta do now? Wait,
like,
we gotta change
get
this.
the other rookies to try it.
Hey,
Get the other rookies there.
That's when they started doing. Well, you're just gonna go home and have a nap, right? Because of guys like us.
Yeah. I mean, I gave her a good dance, and I didn't know I wasn't supposed to gear down, but
You're Canadian. How would you not know? Because explain the difference in Canada and
Shelburne,
the States. They gear
Ontario,
down in
baby.
Canada.
Shelburne, Ontario, rock out with your cock out. That's the way we rolled.
There you go.
But no, I mean, so got sent down to Toledo, obviously, and it was devastating. But to this day, I can remember more teammates on that team than I can remember out of the 3 championships. You know what I mean? That was, obviously Matty Ellis was on my team then, and we came up to Grand Rapids together. We spent our first 10 years of hockey together. Yeah. 4 in St. Mike's, 1 in Toledo, and the rest in Detroit or Grand Rapids together. Right. So obviously he never got called up until I was gone. So, right. But him and I 10 years together, right? Wow. You know what I mean? So Trevor Reed, Grady Moore, like these guys played Bowling Green University, and Trevor Reed, I think he played, that we're talking about like an adopted child out of Calgary, right? That played friggin' University of something. I don't even know what the hell it was. But I went to the Calgary Stampede, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, you made friends and been able to do that.
I could have hung out with Anson Carter that trip. I could have went with a couple. Ryan Barnes was on that trip.
Barnyard.
You know what I mean? And
what's he coaching, Perry?
He's an agent, man.
Well, yeah, and he's
coaching.
He was coaching. He's coaching Compuwer's midget minor.
Okay, so obviously
Barnyard still plays in alumni.
We got traded against each other, right? In junior. He went to Barry.
Traded for each other?
Yeah, a 9-player deal. But he went over to Barry.
Wow, you got traded for 8 guys?
It was 7-2. No. Well, we had 4. I'm just saying, we had 4. They had 5. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You carried the weight. That was all you, Booter.
No, that's a whole new story. We don't go down in that ball game. That was the whole.
But you know Barnesy real well.
Yeah. So Barnesy and I mean, we played against each other, and then obviously Barnesy was my on the bench like Booter. But
he was your drapes.
But that's why I got called up before him, because he wouldn't do it. Right? You know what I mean? So in the long run, it gets to him, and he does get called up. But you know what I mean? That little bit of too much was what got us there. Right? You know what I mean?
Explain that.
I mean, I scored. That's the thing. I got 100 points in junior.
Here's the thing is that I want people to understand is that it's when I preach that self-awareness, they're looking in the mirror, and just if you don't want to deal with that person, which is yourself, just say, hey, not now. You give them the respect. It's because you don't understand. And it took me personally so long to understand my motor, like Booter's motor. If you want me to be this way, you got to accept me this way. And the difference is, and this is the fine line of life and realizing it, the difference between Booter and I, very similar, is that I had Scotty to guide my way to see what it was that accepted me. And you understood that because you came, when you were coming up, when it was Scotty to Dave Lewis, it's that same regime, and you got sort of screwed in the changeover. Because when I say there's a way to coach old style hockey players, and then when I bring that up, it's because what you're doing now with pro ambitions hockey, and I bring in, are you the founder, coordinator? What's your official title?
Well, I'm actually, I direct the hockey camps here in the Midwest, but our founder is actually Jeff Sorowick out of the Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs, Penguins a little bit.
Absolutely. And
Real
this
good
is
defenseman.
Tom Orr, Bobby Orr's great nephew. No. He said, what's your line about? Give me your line when I said, Tom, what's your last name?
Yeah, well, I said close enough to, make a junior hockey team, some stuff like that, but not close enough to make the NHL. So.
No, even if your last name's Orr, I guess it didn't matter if you're Daryl Orr. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. But into that aspect, because you're here with Pro Ambitions Hockey and teaching the hockey school, I ran into you guys yesterday is why I worked out. Actually, this is a great time to plug this because how about this? So Rainbow Connection. Which in Michigan, Rainbow Connection Edition, which anybody who doesn't know, for ill children and stuff that are in the hospitals, they grant wishes and trips and stuff like that. So Mickey Redmond and I were at Troy Ice Arena where you guys are holding your Pro Ambitions hockey camp this week, shooting one. So all Imagine theaters in the month of August through Michigan, they show commercials before movies now. That's fucked up to me, but anyways, it's not for this not in this. This is I know why they started it. It's for things like this. So if you can see the movie, you'll see us. We were with Price and Ellie and Sweet Kids, and we're able to see you guys. So you guys are on the ice teaching the kids and different perspective. But it's just more than that. Can you explain, because you're not just a coach, you're a psychologist.
But
how the different ways. My whole point is that it's not just about the skill on the ice. There's a whole bunch of understanding in what the hockey school, and I'm still trying to figure out why you brought Booter in. But the hockey school. See, there's always an example like Booter, like you and I. It's like what not to be. And what? Hey, look at and what you can turn out to be. See, you can always. It's like a blossoming flower.
Camp today, so yeah, he knows he's got.
All right,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Tom,
so I say so. It's a lot of fun. You mentioned some of the things that we do. But it's definitely about like sharing the hockey culture. It's really important to teach the kids. Like we spent times blocking shots. Booter's joke there, he jumped in. One of our goalies was injured, and he jumped in there real quick with just a mask on. All of his body's exposed, including a lot of
what age of kids?
All of them.
He had 15-year-olds and 13-year-olds with cannons shooting
Only
at him. It was
3 goals
ridiculous.
on me all day.
I had
Any
video
glove
of it.
saves?
Many beauties.
Were you taunting him glove?
He was taunting.
Yeah, oh yeah. Dude,
They don't want to get hit.
No, but it's a different. Hey, and he's a chirper too.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
It's like me.
Next.
It's like sort of like me on the golf course.
Next.
Showcasing every save.
But
He made 10-year-olds cry in a good way. It was great. But it's awesome. We bring a lot of energy. He brings a lot of juice, and the kids love having him out there. And I'm really into growing character and culture, and seeing what you were doing there was real awesome. So we had all the kids, just running them through different drills, but then also just teaching them how to be good people. We tell them that right away. Both Coach Boots and I are on it, and I'm kind of more of a professor. I wrote a book on sport violence, ironically, of all things. We talk about some things.
Yeah, no. We're gonna get into some hockey fights here. So I'd love to hear. Let's talk more about the hockey school, but don't worry, Doc. We'll get into it.
Yeah. So no, I have a lot of that stuff. I'm into youth development, hockey coaching, all that. And again, that culture of hockey, and I was fortunate enough to be able to study at a doctoral level and just dig into it. So anyway, back to the camp. So what we do with that then is we really try to apply a lot of that. The grinding stuff. It's just awesome because we're doing battle camp. I mean, the kids are out there. We have support of our national armed forces. We do a lot of things. We even wear camouflage jerseys sometimes, but it's a really aggressive style.
One of the only camps that I've ever seen that's throwing body checks, and we're teaching them to body check.
Protect themselves. Even the ladies have to protect themselves.
I think that's the whole key, right? And I have a big, the biggest joke in this state is the fact that they don't check till Bantam or 14 or whatever. We're the biggest puberty rate. We have a guy who's 6'5" and he's 14, and the guy who's 4'3", and because the whole thing, Booter, is it's not necessarily how to correctly it's how to take one correctly, how to not put yourself in that position, because what you're dealing with too is not only kids learning properly how to throw a check, where to hit and stuff like that, but it's also understanding how to take it, but it's seeing the game where your responsibility is, because that's the way the game for us. We started at a young age. Did you start young, or were you?
It wasn't how to hit when I was a kid. It was how to protect yourself.
Right, exactly.
You weren't
for whatever, and the
stupid.
respect. To me, it's what's happened is the lack of respect. You get the hitting from behind, and also too. I got a question for you on the psychological, or if you could explain to me the thinking, or if I'm off topic, but it's the same in hockey and in football. It used to be when I grew up. If you go through the middle with your head down, right, and you get lit up, right, it's your own fault, or you trusted the wrong D guy and you can be mad at him and go beat the shit out of your own guy, right? Now that guy gets lit up in any way, and it's the guy who hits some fault. Doesn't matter how clean. I've seen more clean hits get penalized or whatever because the guy puts himself in a bad spot, or just, not gets lit up, but I mean, like, some of the stuff these days, how do you combat that, and how do you teach? I know you teach the respect part, right? Because Booter and I, here's the one thing. The way it used to be is I could have you, and I could hit, like not like whatever like that, but if I'm going to take a run at you, and at the last minute, you've put yourself, I'm going to pull up and hold you, and you go, man, you fucking you owe me one. Especially if it's a guy you're battling with that you play 28 times and whatever, you respect him, right? You respect, so I'm not going to hit you. And he knows, he goes, yeah, thanks. Doesn't mean that he's not going to lay you up. Alex Henry was like that. You know what I mean? I let him off on one, and he let me off on another one down the road, and we ended up fighting twice. But it's like the people to understand. Like,
right. I got a couple on that. Like,
I do, please.
So, like, women's hockey in the NCAA level has highest propensity, or one of the highest propensity of injuries, because they think the rules protect them, but they don't, right? So you got to teach that. And when you talk about it, like with football, if I'm a young kid and I go over the middle and I've never been hit, I'm like, oh, look, I'm going to catch the ball. There it is. Isn't it pretty? And then somebody lights me up from behind, right? If since I'm young, I learn that, hey, somebody's going to light me up from behind, or, whatever, I'm going to be catching it with active eyes. Hey, there's a safety coming at me. I better protect myself as I catch it. Boom. And now I'm not putting myself in a position to be concussed. Head on a swivel, all that stuff. Approach the angle, do some shoulder checks. All those good things is, absolutely protecting yourself for the ladies' game. I mean, it's awesome. You watch Kendall Coyne and I mean, it's awesome having the women play.
Dude, he probably brings up the ladies stuff.
Oh God!
Talk
about Jocelyn in my prayers today. I was very religious. I was praying every time.
Ex-gopher went to North Dakota and would beat the crap out of all of us. So he had to bring up women's hockey.
No, but the women's hockey game,
just because he doesn't want to go
that's
home
one of the
and
best teams.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you. That is.
Shout out to your wife. Great.
We've got to know each other really well, hockey guys. That's why it's the greatest sport in the world, the hockey culture.
Yes,
like right away, like would we connect with like 15 guys like the first 7 minutes we do each other?
And why is that?
Yeah. Well, you got to ask.
No, but I'm just saying, like, so Canadians. And Tom, you're from North Dakota, right?
Right. Yeah.
Wait,
huge hockey culture.
What's up with the name change?
Yeah, no, so we got on that real quick before the show. We were having just great talks, by the way. Even when first coming up to you, and, what you were doing for the charity and all that.
Yeah.
It's just been great getting to know you. But yeah, we were talking earlier about the Fighting Sioux logo, and I actually wrote about it in my textbook a little bit. And we talk about deviance and violence and culture. And for me, it's always been a respect thing. We have awesome Native Americans. We support it huge. And I kind of put it this way too, like, Custer didn't do real well. In North Dakota, it's like, yeah, the Native Americans. And we learned a lot about their pride in their culture. That's why people like Zach Parisi tweet out, save the Sioux, all those great things. They're actually called the Fighting Hawks, and it looks like a U.S. Post Office logo, and they can't sell the jerseys. You go to any college hockey game right now, Division I, not even just UND games, and you'll see Sioux logos everywhere, and you may rarely at a hockey game of 14,000 people at a college hockey game at UND up in Grand Forks, and you'll see Sioux logos everywhere, and very, very few of these ridiculous post office things. But the people that know it, it's pride.
That is awful.
They're passing
it right there. That is awful.
They're passing it
out.
US
Post Office, how much you want for that, Booter?
Yeah,
we'll overnight it.
They're sending the alumni and the minors all this new Hawk stuff, right? And then trying to get these guys to wear it, so they'll see hockey players wearing this logo.
I got to tell you guys, I love the fact, as being a hockey official, that you're teaching the kids to protect themselves. Right. Because they are telling officials, you got to call the guy that's put it in the hit on. And I'm like, if the guy's coming to put a good, clean check on, and he puts a good, clean check, but the kid turns his back at the last second, how do I penalize the guy that made the correct play? And that's what they're doing. They're changing the game so much that the guys that are making the right plays, they're getting penalized, and it's just not right. And I've also, because of all the changes, I've seen more serious injuries to kids over the years with by not letting them check earlier to learn. And the biggest thing is learning how to protect themselves. And the fact that you're doing that in your camps is awesome. Those kids are going to be farther ahead of the game than a lot of other kids.
It's crazy to me. You know, obviously I was a little later than you in my career, and I mean, the things that I had to do to change my career to keep playing blow my mind. You know, I was telling him earlier, my stick was up to my eyebrows when I started playing hockey in pro, because I could stick you for 15 seconds at the face-off, and then when you finally got away, you know, if you got the puck, I could hook you and bring you in close and tight. And you know, I'm sorry, but I believe it was Brendan Shanahan on the NHLPA wanted to play longer, so you know he changed the rule. You know, you lift your stick and put it on a shin pad, you're in the box. Right, so no one hooked him anymore. And
no water skiing.
Yeah, he got more. Yeah,
I could water ski like a motherfucker.
Man,
latch on. That's water skiing is when you hook onto the guy, back check his hip.
The worst part is
it's like lassoing. All you had to do is get your stick there, and then you could just.
I got you. I could get it in the back of your jersey.
I still. Hey, Perry refs are alumni games, so if you're alumni, if you ever want to play, you let us know.
Yeah, I mean,
when you're in town.
I don't know.
He refs it, and hey, trust me, I usually take the opening face-off, or I'm out there, and I let the other team know. 90s rules, boys. We only play 90s rules in the alumni booter as long as I'm there.
The worst. I got my long stick idea watching Avery play in Kingston.
Yeah.
So I saw him wheeling around doing this, and I'm like, fuck that. What am I thinking? Fuck that, right? So, I mean, I tried it in practice, loved it, sniped, you know, 100 points in junior, no big deal. But I would use it to hook you, and that's how it was. And it was, I mean, so then even now with these kids, when, I mean, these kids go to hit me, I mean, I change my game. I mean, I'm like, okay, perfect. I look like I don't know what I'm doing, and I turn my head this way, and then it looks like you crush me from behind, and you get a 5-minute major, and then I go win the game, right? You know, it was,
right.
It was. I mean, I was playing the zebras as much as I was playing the girls in the.
And that's
well,
the
you
smart
have to.
hockey player.
Yeah. I mean, you just play the game. I mean, I yelled at the refs all the time. Rule 26B, motherfucker, you're wrong. Like, I did not know any fucking rules. Never seen a rule book in my life.
That's it. That goes with the old. Hey, if I tell you enough that I can believe it, then you got to believe. If you believe it enough, it doesn't matter what anybody else believes.
That's my. I don't even know half the rule book.
No,
but my games go smooth because you know, you just
shout out Surf Pro. Yeah. I showed up to a hurricane down in Baton Rouge, and I was pretty much running the company in like 3 days. I had a supervisor outfit on. They all had supervisor outfits on. I had a Yeti cup. I mean, mine was an Arctic. All the guys, but you know, I wheeled up with my Arctic and just started bossing around fucking people. I get back to Fort Collins to work for Surf Pro, and 2 of the guys I was bossing around were owners of Surf Pro in Fort Collins. So I'm bossing around my owners. Oh, no, Daniel's got it. No, he told me 3 o'clock, we'll figure it out. You want me to check with Daniel now again? Like, Daniel's the only guy's name I knew, so.
Oh, my God. Hey, you got to find something exciting to do
Booters,
when you're done.
This is a Daryl Bootland, whatever life deals you, you play the hand.
Well, after the old Biz Nasty episode on the podcast, I've been told a lot. I need to get my own podcast. So
you do?
I don't know if you guys know yet. I'm really moving into the pool and I have 5 kids in the sauna.
You got it.
No, I only
dude.
Got 3
hey,
kids.
You know what? We'll ask. You know, T. Roy won't have a problem with that. You know what? You can. Ask the maid, Mike.
I'm not as big as McCarty. Mickey shook my hand. He thought I was a fan.
Mickey Redmond.
Yeah. Well, I bumped into him at the customs office one time, and you know, shook his hand. He's like, "Sorry, you know, I see all you guys all the time. I know you're a Red Wing, but what's your name? You know?" And it's Daryl Bootland, and he oh yeah. He acted like he remembered, but you know, we were walking through the lobby, and I bumped into him. Hey, Mick, how you doing? You know, and he just kind of gave me the old. He iced me a bit.
That's all right.
Still good guy. Still love him. Great guy.
Oh, I absolutely.
Helped me out throughout my days.
Yeah.
Besides him and what's the old masseuse sewing machine there? What's it?
Oh, Chica.
Chica. Oh, me and Chica bonded a lot, but Mickey and I did a lot. I mean, hey, Chica's the only guy in the Red Wings one that had beer when we lost.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Hey,
who do you think I sat
hey,
beside?
wait,
Was
exactly.
that your seat? Maybe you
It
broke
was
your
my
back.
seat.
Was that your seat?
Yeah, across from him, dude.
Now I know
he
why
didn't
I
have
was
he didn't have one,
Bad
two, or
role
three.
models.
He'd
Bad
be
role
like,
models.
"Hey, Booter, here." He'd be happy you drink with
I don't
the
know
Chica,
how
and then
deep-
he'd pull him out of midair.
I don't know how deep that freaking seat was.
Dude, he had him.
I don't understand
Hey,
it.
They just kept coming.
No word of a lie.
no.
It would be. He just keep reaching behind him, pull him,
I felt
and
like
you wouldn't know where he pulled him
I
out.
felt like there was a little Russian stewardess back there or something. I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we were best
Hey,
buddies.
we're talking about Sergei Chekmarov, who's our masseuse. Dude, how big and strong were his hands? We used to watch him stitch skates by hand.
Yeah.
By hand. Like he was old school Russian.
I still have the shoulder pads with the.
I do too, and the gloves. I got
they're
like 3
flak.
pairs of gloves that I look at.
I have Flak Bauer shoulder pads. Wore them for 16 years, and every single trainer I ever had asked me who did this, who stitched this, who did this. And I mean, I had.
It's old school. It's like Cold War, old school back. You know, when they had nothing and they had one piece of thread to do the whole family's. And
he could make you a barn out of suede. Like
this is funny. Can I cut in real quick?
Yeah.
So during the lockout year, he was looking for money, and we were playing Oakland University. I was a coach at Indiana, and I talked to him, and some of the guys had some vodka and stuff with them, and I still keep the skate blade to this day. And whenever because I didn't know how to, I kind of explained what I wanted for all this stuff, and I said, make it like Fedorov. I want to like fly on the ice, and he made it, and he rounded it just perfect. And that's how I tell people that's what I want my skate, and I'll actually give him that one and say, please match it.
There you go.
The guy was absolutely magic. He was magic.
Wow. Hey,
we paid him handsomely for his work. Every guy.
No,
when you play hockey at Indiana University, you can't even get your skate sharpened in that state. Like you got to drive to Michigan to have your skate sharpened.
So talk about.
He was a miracle.
But the fact that so Tom, did you grow up playing hockey?
Yeah,
you grew up around the
absolutely.
game. So you're talking about like this blows me away with so much joy because guys, like I always say, is just the awareness of I just did the old hey, I see you because look at the way the room's come full circle. And that's the thing I don't call it life the full circle. I call it the infinity circle because you just closed off the Chica chapter of one episode and then started a new one, but the fact that that's how great you experienced exactly the person, the individual we're talking about, which, you make a bet. It's one of those, well, Tom, you won't know this guy, but, and you're like, matter of fact, I keep to this day the one, how many years ago did you do that?
Oh, man, it would like 2001-ish, I suppose.
Short term, he's saying dynamite drop it, right?
Dude, that's sick.
04. When was I? 04,
05. But what I'm saying is 15 years ago, and you still keep it. How many times you still to this day, right?
Every time I get a new pair of skates, which is every couple years.
And nobody can replicate even to the way it felt. I bet the one time.
Like I joked to Bootsy today. We build up our confidence dangling 8 to 12-year-old goalies in the summer, and it feels really good in those skates.
I stop them now, baby.
But
I know you stop them.
Hey, you know
your
what?
shin heels too, by the way.
You know what? On Grind Time with Darren McCarty, we say everything about that except we don't put in the 8 or 12-year-old. They don't need to know. The rest of you say,
well, there's some real good 15, 16s
dangling. No, it doesn't matter. Just out there on the ice when I'm just dangling all those
elite
prospects. All these prospects,
exactly.
The
professor just learned something from the Grind Time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It just made my day
every
right
day.
there, pal.
I love it. So on a more like on the series, so we're talking about body check and we're talking about teaching the kids and different things like that because the injuries and the concussions and the hitting from behind and I don't know. Back in our day, it was even it's like rub a Band-Aid on it, get back out. You had your bow on. You've fought a million times. Do you notice like as far as not only your body but your mind or whatever from over the years?
I've been pretty fortunate. I mean, I don't know if it was because I was a lefty, but I'd just dodge and duck and throw, and I don't know if the 7 concussions I had before playing hockey from motorbiking and lacrosse and horse riding and hanging out with Downey or whatever,
right?
Shelburne, Ontario. But I've been pretty fortunate so far. I do have that thought and that worry, of course, that it's 10 years down the line, you hear about all these horror stories, and I've lost 3 to 5 best friends kind of because of fighting and because of giving up
because of that, and that's the thing. And the one thing that here it is, guys. Here's the freaking DMAC's going to drop it to the seriousness of the program, but it's reality and it's life. And like I said, brought it up last week. We Greg Johnson, who was a Detroit Red Wing former
Sioux.
Another one exactly. So we all have that connection to him.
He was at my first training camp as a Red Wing.
Yeah, and so the fact that we're losing guys, and there's too much to it. I know for me, my journey well documented. I've been sober since November 11th. But my job's strictly to fucking overfeed my endocannabinoid system with the cannabis plant, right? And in doing that, the CBD, the THC, I didn't know if you knew this, but with the one thing is Glenn Healy, who's the PA, is in the middle of the 2-year study with Canopy Canada to come out in June.
I've been working with the PHPA, and we brought them into our meetings as well. I mean, it's a huge thing that should be known by everybody.
But it's the truth, and it's the way it is. I mean, I practice it and I do it, and this is the time of the program where I tell everybody at home, because I use all different things, and what I try to do is facilitate to people out there who want to get knowledge. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to say, well, what do you mean by that? And what do I mean by that right now? Here, check it out. Herbal Active. URBALACTIV.com. Use that. That's anything. And that's the THC-free hemp CBD, right? So you're always wondering, and as I always say, the 0.3% THC, well, that's like the doorman. Your name's on the list. You can get into the club. With the THC-free, like Herbal Active has, it ships all across the country with no THC in it, so you got to wait in line, but it will work. And there's always something in there, from the bombs to the tinctures to the capsules. Check out herbalactive.com today. Use code DMAC25 for 25% off. Open up the question lines, guys. It's there for you. So herbalactive.com, part of the Grind Time family.
Sorry, Mac. I didn't know if you wanted to move on to. We're gonna have a.
We will in a minute. We'll wait till Booter gets back. But did you? Are you a golf fan? Did you watch the British Open, Tom?
I have been so busy with making these kids happy. I'm babysitting kids and teaching them elite skills, so I missed it.
I love it. I
can't even get to play golf.
Hey, you're going to make me feel bad because I watched every hour of coverage since 1:30. No, I'm just kidding. But
I got to sleep in one of these days too, didn't you?
No, but I wanted to bring this up because if you want to know how I sort of test the temperature of the world is sort of through sports a lot of times. Like the fact that St. Louis won out of 40 years and faced the deficit, or had everything thrown against them. Like they had every kitchen sink, from the glove pass in the San Jose series to, being down to, being blown out to use the rookie goal. They did it. They earned it.
My brother's goalie, no big deal.
What's that?
My brother trained him in the coast, brought him to the show. No big
Brother
deal.
Nick?
Yeah.
The good Bootland?
Yeah, the normal one.
The normal Bootland?
Yeah.
No, but how good is that? So speak about it. So you knew about Bennington before, right?
Yeah, he was in Kalamazoo.
So your brother, had he been saying, this kid's, he was that good, or is he?
Yes, yeah. He knew. I mean, it was one of those things when he's in this. It sucks at coaching at that level, obviously, because you're going to lose him. But he knew it was a matter of time before that kid was going.
But at that level, when you're coaching the minors, it's try to give them the opportunity. And anybody along the way, speaking of that, anybody along the way, along your way, who are some? Because that's the whole thing with Tom and Booter, what you're doing, the Pro Ambitions hockey. It's who says, whose voice is heard, right? So you and I come at it differently, more of an abrasive in your face. You know, we're gonna find the you and I out of the group and whatever else as far as on a different way. So it's a message. I know for myself, you know, growing up, you know, it was my Bantam coach, Mike Clem, or Brian Drum, who, you know, brought me into Peterborough to play junior B. Then, you know, even into Larry Mavity and junior to Scotty Bowman.
I didn't know you were in Peterborough, right? That's
no, Belleville.
Okay, well, my grandparents live in Peterborough.
But I was in Peterborough for junior B.
Yeah, I got
exactly.
That part. I was here.
Yeah, I love it. There it is. To step it up. So it's the influence along the way. You never know when they're going to hear the voice. Who are some of the guys, what age?
So my biggest one, you know, at a younger age, you know, obviously my parents and my brother, you know, I was riding my brother's coattails as far as I could, right?
Right.
But, you know, I had a few coaches. I mean, Bert Templeton, I was with him a short time. He was in
Bert's in North Bay, and
yeah.
So Bert Templeton, Larry Mavity, and Brian Kilway are like
Legends.
the three old school cowboy amigos of the OHL. We were talking about it last week with Mike Lucci.
Yeah, so Bert, I had him very, very short period of time, but what an influence that man had on me. I mean, he was my lion. He looked like a lion when you went into his office. You shit your pants, you know what I mean? And
absolutely.
I was 16 when he told me I was traded, and I could have stopped the 9-player deal, but the Lions stared me down. I feel like it was when you were looking at me right now, you know. And Tom staring at me. I mean, that's how it was. I mean, he was a legend. He sat at the back of the bus. I mean, are you kidding me? He's a coach sitting at the back of the bus. The rookies got to sit at the farthest back. So you know, so he was awesome. But my favorite would have been Dave Cameron. Came into St. Mike's. I actually had Mike Feuda as well in St. Mike's for a while, who was a huge influence. He was with the LA Kings, and you know, I bumped into him, Marty Turco's tournament and stuff. But the year, you know, going down as the, you know, big, huge signing bonus baby, going down to Toledo, you know, I had Claude Noel, and there was articles in the newspaper that I had taped up in my stall, you know, went down as the rock star, you know, was a 0 in about, you know, 6 games, you know, oh, coach, I could play D for this overtime. I played D in juniors and went out and got lit up on D and lost the game and, you know, went through the whole thing, broke my one piece on the net. They didn't have one pieces back then. The whole rink stopped. You know, I was the only guy in the coast with a one piece. Like, so, yeah. Oh, funny story. The trainer got fired for selling them. He was ordering them all year. I didn't know.
He got a trainer fired.
He was ordering them all year.
No, the trainer got himself fired, Barry, for ordering his sticks and selling them.
He was ordering from Polyboy all year, and I saw 6 of them, right? And I get yelled at for breaking sticks. I'm like, what? I broke one.
It's tough in the minors for everybody.
Different, yeah, circus league. But yeah, Claude Noel was my coach that year, and he eventually went up to Manitoba Moose and Winnipeg Jets, and you know, he played in Kalamazoo, you know, back in the 70s or 60s or something. But you know, with articles in the newspaper, and I don't know, he's actually writing the articles, right? But I'm thinking this reporter's gonna fucking die if I ever see this guy. He's fucking dead. But I mean, man, I was holding guys up in the glass in the Toledo Sports Arena, and they had half glass between the benches.
I remember it.
And between the big glass, right? And I would hold up these fighters, these huge 6'5" guys. I'm 6'1", you know, a little rat, and I'd push them out, and the fans would punch me for me. I mean, you would get high and drunk being in the stands. Like, that's all you smelled was weed and fucking. It was. I mean, Kid Rock was sitting beside me in the penalty box one time. You know, I'm 20 fucking years old. Like, I had my fucking brother's ID still. You know, going out with the Iranian mafia in Toledo, fucking Ohio. You know, it was the best year of my life. Like,
I love to hear it.
The point is, what was the question?
Yeah, right. How about influences? Because I think it's important too.
Claude
we're
Noel.
a bunch
love
of
love him. Claude Noel. Love him.
Love it. Awesome.
Sorry.
How about you, Tom? Because you know, what gets you to, you know, go get a PhD in psychology and all that stuff, but you had to have influences along the way.
$100.
Because it has to be to your style of coaching or developing into the program or what you believe in.
Yeah, right. No, I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot of good ones. Obviously, like it's a pretty strong family. My father and mother and all that. My uncle that played hockey, that was like
Bobby,
made it cool. Yeah, actually, the one that was closely related. He just played for the North Dakota State Bison AC. While club team at the time.
Coltnor? No. Okay.
That's a lot of orange.
That's a tough fade. No, that's a good one. It. Wait, he changed his name, married the sister, but changed the name because it's a tough family.
Yeah, well, I had some good ones. Just at a youth level, like this Brad Shack that taught me how to skate pretty well, and Coach Carlson still on high school. But the one that would relate to some of your audience was actually when I was a coach at Indiana University. I coached with Al Carlander, and he used to be a linemate at Gordie Howe, and had some stories from them. And he was actually the first NCAA college hockey player drafted in the NHL when the Red Ones took him back in the 60s. So
Perry would have remembered that.
Was that Jimmy Delano? Hey, do you remember?
Perry was like 20 then.
Al Carlander from Michigan
Al
Tech.
Carlander, there's a drop. So where did you play? How high did you play? And then because here's the thing, guys, because with Todd, love of the game. And it's a parent talking hockey with you, and it doesn't matter and how important it is where you can fit your love. You've found a way to incorporate your love of the game that you've had into something that not only gives back, but something that, works as far as a profession, or, not only writing the books, the psychology, looking into the violence, but, I want, how does it, do you get to this point? How do you get to this point? I know how Booter survived through all that shenanigans and shit because I lived the same thing right before him. But for you, to get to where you're at now.
Well, I got a lot of neat things. My wife and I were fortunate enough to stumble upon some boards this hockey association was giving out, and ended up building a little third-size rink in my backyard up in South Dakota. And they did a little documentary, a little 10-minute one. So we've had a lot of culture that way. With it was called Sandlot Hockey. Actually, it wasn't like some small time.
I love it, dude. But
it was kind of neat, just a backyard. My wife playing for the Gophers.
Hey, I remember we played in the Quebec tournament. And the best part about it, I don't remember any of the playing the hockey tournament except that the billets we stayed at, the neighbors had an outdoor half rink, and it was more fun skating with everybody. We couldn't wait to get back to the billets house to skate. You know what I mean? Like excuse me. Stuff like that is so awesome.
He's choking up.
Talking,
I got him.
He's talking
making me choke up with the Sandlot shit, man.
Well,
my friends will be so impressed. I made him cry.
A lot of people. Don't. But what he's talking about is the Quebec. That's the Pee Wee International tournament for 11, 12-year-olds.
Yeah, I wasn't good enough playing that one, Perry. I was just talking about it in some Quebec.
Oh, just your Quebec.
Hey, Reitz, you on the phone, Reitz? Eric Reitz, Rockstar's Limousine.
Put him back on hold.
Ladies and gentlemen, you ever play in the Pee Wee tournament in Quebec?
Nope, wasn't good enough.
Booter, you ever play there?
Shelburne C hockey. We don't get to go to that tournament.
That's is that a? Do they have a junior D team?
No. We got they had they got senior A.
Senior A. So Eric Reitz of Rockstar's Limousine. I got him on the line because you and Booter, you guys are about the same age. You might have battled in junior. Is that true or not?
I wouldn't call it battle, Darren.
What would you call it?
I don't know. Talk to Daryl.
Daryl, what would you call it, Daryl?
There we go.
Called me Daryl back in the day, so I took care of fucking business.
Oh, Daryl. Hey,
well, every fucking game. Daryl.
Not Reitz.
I can't fucking hear you. Your nose is in the way. Move it. Can you move it?
Hey, how good were they? Hey, the thing is, talk about that though. I mean, that's I'm looking at this right now. I see a
Barry Colts home game. Just got traded.
You remember this fight?
Majors, I do. Like it was yesterday.
You know what? It kind of was. Daryl got traded out of Barry because they wanted to bring the kid in to bring home the champion.
Is that what it was, Richie?
I'm pretty sure I just set up that guy back door though. See that?
Daryl.
Just saying. No big deal.
Wait, who was it that came flying in?
Oh, the big 2-7 there.
Yeah, Booter's definitely started it, the prick. He jumped you.
It was in my hometown. I was from
He
Barrie.
jumped you. You were mad at the kid. Oh, you were saucy back then.
That Barry Colts goalie can suck his own D, just saying.
Oh, hey! Are you watching the clip that I sent to Perry?
Yeah, we're watching it right now.
Oh yeah, you still have it on your phone, eh?
Dude, Booter,
Hey,
Reach is so much like you, dude. He will
picture.
give you. He sent some sick
No,
videos.
come on, McCarty.
What are you saying there? Like after? Are you calling him Daryl then?
No, I was chirping his blonde highlights.
Yeah, but they were fabulous. So he was mad because
Look,
you went on for the
me.
winner.
You can still smell me from there.
Hey, Daryl,
Reach.
put the mic by your face. I can't hear you chirping. It's the same thing in hockey. You're about 10 feet behind me because you can't skate. I can't hear you chirping.
My
Put
stick
that
could
mic
reach you.
closer,
My
buddy.
stick could still reach you, pal.
Yeah, that's it. That's true. That's true.
I got a
And
5
long,
for I got
very
a 5
long
for
leg.
butt ending.
Did you know he was a
only
left-hander, Eric, before you fought him?
He did. And his
No,
mouth, his mouth
I
did.
found out pretty quick. That Iron Mike jaw didn't falter me.
No,
Hey, he could still talk.
that was Rockstar's limousine at its early finest.
He could even still talk with his jaw hanging. I seen it. It was crazy.
Buddy, I talked to like 50 people today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rockstar's Limousine.
I like
Darren
it.
McCarty approved.
I feel like I'm.
I know, and hey, how about you got any words about your number one driver, Perry Vellucci? How's
Perry
he doing? Is he
Vellucci,
doing
you know what?
Is he
You know,
doing all
Perry-
right?
Perry's telling you all the good stories. Why doesn't Perry tell you about last Friday, where Perry ended up at the time he was supposed to pick the clients up? Come on, Perry, spill the beans to the boys.
I like it. Reach. That's number 2. I wanted you to get on with Booter, but I got to hear the real deal from Perry. Perry,
You know what? Go
Eric,
ahead, let him tell it.
stay on the line and let's hear, and you can tell me if he's giving me everything. So grind time with you gonna fill us in?
Yeah,
Grind time audience.
What
happened?
I went to pick up a bachelorette party, and I went to a stop in Southfield instead of Royal Oak. I looked at the wrong address, but he's going to correct the sheet so that they are idiot-proof.
So it was Reese's fault. Weird.
Okay, Reach.
You're
So
right,
I heard some blame put back on the management there. Does Perry have a claim that it was a
you have to
one of those things
You know,
that would easily be corrected
Perry-
and not happen again? Or does Perry have more responsibility?
Perry's missed some very key details in that story that he forgot to tell everybody.
Would you care to elaborate?
No, let's move on. So let's get
Sure,
back to you and
sure.
Daryl.
Yes, please. Hold on.
My question is this.
Hey,
would
mute
it
their
be,
mics while Eric talks, please.
Hey, would it be okay if he peed his pants?
Hey, Ritzy, so finish it off.
I'm waiting. Okay.
No, finish off. What did he leave out?
Am I responding to Daryl's nonsense, or am I going after Perry? Who am I
No,
going
I
after
did.
right now?
No, I think Perry peed his pants because you made him so upset that he almost peed on Booter or something. I don't know. You're responding to me on
I might have
Perry
peed on
not
Booter
coming
for-
forthcoming. I got to
All
get to the
right, so
bottom of this.
I'll go with Booter first. I might have peed on Booter because Booter would like that kind of thing back in the day when we played in the OHL. Back to Perry, it says number 1. It says number 1's a pickup address. Perry looked at the very top of the contract where the person lives. So I get their home address in case they decide to cancel the contract the day before the occasion, and I'm out, hey, $700-800. I know where they live, so I can serve them the papers.
See, don't screw your limo driver at serious
That's
or
it.
whatever. So now, Eric, I gotta be devil's advocate here. To Perry's
Okay.
defense, was this explained to Perry at any point in the previous, maybe when he was trained, or something that, hey, here's the home address, but here, look here, don't be confused?
You know what? I don't want to answer it. Why don't you ask Perry what he thinks about the situation?
Perry, do you have any answer to that part of the question? I'm just trying to come down.
I knew how it was supposed to be. I looked at the wrong thing.
Okay.
I looked at what I looked at.
There it is.
That's all. Hey, Eric, you and I are looking for the same thing.
Just like
it's
when
just
I ref.
accountability.
When I ref,
I just
I own
wanted
up to it.
Right. Did you make a mistake?
Yes, I
Will
did.
that happen again?
No.
I think that was the whole point of this conversation of how
Why don't we
Perry
just
will
ask at
not
the beginning?
miss the
Instead of letting me
departure
get beat
spot
up.
again, or else there'll be heavy repercussions. Because you, Buddha, what is it? You're allowed to make one. You're allowed to make mistakes. Just don't make the same one over again.
But when I peed,
Yep.
when I peed my pants, it wasn't pro. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what? Me and Daryl had a good time. We fought each other so many times. I think by the time we played in the AHL against each other, we were so sick of fighting each other. It was more, hey, Daryl, Where are we going? Where are we going after to drink? I said, if
So,
I'm
but
in your
explain
hometown,
if-
where
hey,
we going?
Daryl.
Right, exactly. Explain
So you
that,
weren't
though,
my
because
friend.
that doesn't just happen. That's the way it is. Some guys you end up fighting your whole career, and it's just like, dude, what is it? You know, let's save it for the show, right? You fight because that's the thing in junior. You're fighting for a purpose. You know, there's also two in the A, but you know when you make it up there, especially if you're two guys there. So, well, thanks for joining us, Reitz, and thanks for making Perry be accountable.
thanks,
That's how
boss.
you get, ladies and gentlemen, grind time audience. That's how you get a referee to admit he was
That's
wrong.
my boss,
Booter.
Daryl. I mean,
Booter, do you like that? That's how you get a referee to admit he was wrong.
I can't believe
Reitzy, when we golfing?
I would have lied my face off, man, especially to Reitzy.
August 4th. August 4th.
August 4th. All right. Sounds good, buddy.
Yep. All right,
Thanks for
bud. See you,
calling.
boys.
Yeah, we better see you tonight, Reitzy. Puss,
Hey, I'll
puss.
steal it. See
I
you,
got
Daryl.
business to run here, pal. I'm working 8 till 5. Can you maybe come out later? Take your tampon
He says
out?
he's looking for another job. He's looking for 12 jobs.
you
He might
think-
put his
You
application
think
in.
this fucking guy could drive a limo? I could fucking own that limo. I'll ride it.
Hey, Daryl, we're looking for a security guard, buddy. All day,
Hey,
24/7.
I'll choke a motherfucker out for
Yeah,
you.
he said he's got his choke game down.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Like 10
no.
guys-
You're gonna be like Entourage's security guard for the bachelorette parties we got.
Yeah, don't tell my wife, but I'm in.
Hey, Daryl, make sure that they
Booter.
edit
Booter.
the film here.
Hey, Eric, fuck off.
All right, hey,
see you,
I'm glad
Booter.
I
my
can
gears.
reunite you fucking
Yeah,
children.
he knows how he can grind my gears, eh? On grind. Fuck you.
Daryl.
I'll see you.
Hey, you know what's
Daryl.
funny when you're calling
Love you,
somebody
Booter.
Daryl and their name's actually Daryl, because
fucking
Daryl's
sucks.
like the name you call.
Yeah,
Hey, Tom,
douchebag.
you're Daryl.
Daryl. Oh, I love
All
it.
right.
Love it. See you, Booter.
See you, rock stars.
You know I won the battle.
Hey,
word, last
Perry,
word.
did you? Speaking of golf, do you golf then, Booter?
Yeah, I'm down to like a 5 handicap.
Nice.
Well, man, when you watch billionaires golf all day,
They're
like,
bad though.
Well, I didn't realize like I'm all of a sudden because you gotta wait 60 days before you play the course as a caddy. So like 60 days, I was out there actually my 42nd day or something.
Of course you
But,
were.
Yeah, yeah.
That's 60. That's 60.
Yeah. It's
You
like
know,
he sent me to
60
send me to
humans,
jail. I'm getting
42
out early, bro. Just a tip. It's not gay, boys. No, I work my way in there. But when I'm watching and reading these greens, and this millionaire looks at me and gives me the fucking what the fuck. I'm like, buddy, like you missed the line by fucking 2 fucking cups. I said 1 cup, and now I start pointing to the fucking actual line with the flag. Like, no, right here, motherfucker. Like, if you want to do it like that, But then I got out there and I started playing the course, and I mean, I haven't chipped in a shot since I was 14, and I play the course, 10 times in 6 months now, and I've chipped in 4 or 5 times, and I'm fucking doing the booty birdie dance all the time. The boys in Bradford know the booty birdie dance. Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah, I get a birdie, I'm fucking dancing.
So 6 months there, you must have a nice following with all these.
Well, we're getting in there a little bit. It's taking a bit, we got.
Well, because that's like you went up to the top shelf.
Oh fuck, that's cheese.
So you got it,
That's
right?
cheese. Yeah, when I'm sucking the taint, it's cheese. Yeah, these guys, like this one guy lives on the course. I won't say his last name, but so his dad was he's a roofer, is what he's known as in Houston, right? And apparently his dad was booked for one of the biggest busts in the mafia ever. And so this guy's taking caddies downtown Houston, got them a police escort because they were late, put these caddies in a limo, took them down to the Texans games and shit. I'm looking for my.
You're looking for your.
Yeah, I don't go that way, but if it's a fucking $100,000 job, bro. Hey, Chelly.
Booter's looking for a job, and
where's Chelly?
like he said, hey, I always say, don't say that there's a price, because there's a price tag on everything.
Yeah,
there you go.
Fuck.
Um,
Guy told me his personal assistant was getting 180 grand the other day, because I do Amazon services as well.
Oh, there you go. You're there. I got 4 out of you now.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Handyman, boys.
Hey, so
Handyman
you
these
used to
days.
throw the knucks. So Perry, you want to introduce the segment? this new segment that we're
Do your job.
debuting. I brought
Do
it
your
up.
job, Perry.
It's a great thing that you're here,
For
Buddha,
once.
because I think that they're involving you
That
too.
didn't take long. Daryl.
Here we go, Daryl.
So we're gonna start doing a new segment. It's called Watch a Mac Fight. We're gonna pull up a fight.
that was
and
original.
discuss it. Yeah, no, I know.
Please show the mullet.
Thought about that a
Show the
long
one-
time.
No,
the
literally,
mullet.
just before I said it is all I thought about it.
Oh,
so we
really?
wouldn't
even have
figured that.
paid off.
We're
I
gonna
didn't-
come up
man,
with
I thought
something.
you were
We're gonna come
stewing
up
on
with
that all
something.
week.
So
I got one March mullet month, and we'll just do mullet fights. Look at that mullet.
Oh.
That's a
I
great
love
mullet
it.
on top.
So
I love it.
actually,
on,
Bam
go.
Bam's got a good question for you. He wants to show this fight against Darren Hatcher. And,
Yeah, this is what happens when you get bored at work. I'll tell you the truth. So, Darren, I'm watching this fight, right? First thing I see is, what the
That's
fuck?
Jack Johnson pose.
What is that?
The mullet
Hold on,
or
I
the
gotta go
Jack
back.
Johnson
No, no, no.
pose? Or what am I
This.
doing, fighting a guy 6'5"? Or the square off? That's the Jack Johnson. Now, as a lefty, yeah, come and get some of that. You don't want none of that. You don't know which one you're going to get, bro. The whole thing is I got my right arm extended and my left arm in. Now, being a lefty,
Yep.
Buddha, you can appreciate this.
Is that your hair hanging, or is that?
That is an
a
absolute
scab?
mullet.
Is this
Miracle flow. Get you some.
You and Barnesy get the
you're-
same hairdresser.
Absolutely.
And Hatcher. How ironic. You got
Hey.
a heart attack jacket after this fight, or what?
So when you fight a guy,
I got to go back because this is where it's so great, Darren, because
8.5 minutes.
here, why don't you talk? Why don't you talk your questions through it and play it, and then I'll answer and you can play it back as it's through.
because this is what you do. So you square up, right?
Yep.
You're waiting to grab him to punch, right? Is that the strategy within a hockey fight? You want to grab before you punch?
Well, no. If you notice in Booters when he fought Mike Key, there's a lot of different ways. I can throw the right first, because the right's the lead. But when you're fighting a guy this big, right? Darren Hatcher, 6'5", 220. I can't fight from the outside on him. So if I can get a grab on him and throw a punch to get inside, like I did, you're fighting my fight against the big guy. Inside hands where he can't get extended. There, I can get him right, get him in a vulnerable position. That's where.
Hatcher goes down and says, "Fuck."
Right. So if you rewind it to the beginning, so I gotta take.
Well done.
So when I square off like this, it means I'm sizing him out, right? So I got to keep him out so I can.
so
You
you're
know,
looking
you notice
to
when I
go.
grab him, he puts both hands up,
Yep.
right? Now, Darren Hatcher at this time is earlier in his career. He's not really known as a fighter. It's his size is why he fights. Doesn't mean he's not tough. Yeah, he's strong and tough. But Booter and I are more fighters and fight more the same style. So would you agree that the way you'd fight Hatcher the same way as I did, as far as you got to get inside?
Is it weird that Ryan Barnes taught me the arm out because he learned it from fucking Darren McCarty?
No, absolutely not. But hey, and tell me it doesn't buy.
And I started doing it where I would do fucking right out first, and then
come in and throw the right and pull the left.
to
Yeah,
fucking grab.
because I seen you against Mike Keem too. Is you square off right because you can throw that. If that punch is there, right, you'll unload it, and it's just like a combination.
It's still
and
throw and grab.
But you like to throw it and grab it.
Throw and grab. Yeah.
And being talk about that. See, guys don't understand is that they know you're a lefty, and it's still a different fight.
No.
We have an advantage, and like when you're 6 foot, 6'1", and I'm heavier than you are, or I play 250. You're like 200.
Oh, I was 200. Yep.
Yeah, right. So is like the leverage, and it's sort of like you got to know is we didn't mind fighting these guys. I love that when till the Jersey rule came in. That fucking robbery rule sucked. But you could fight, and yet there are different techniques and tactics, and you'd use.
Oh, I cut mine in junior, man. One little tiny fucking
stitch. Well, you
from
can
the
speak
tray.
about that because
And
that
I
used
cut
to
it all
be
the way
the
to
old
here.
school tough guys. Stitch here, you grab your shirts up. Well, you used to see if you go to Little Caesars Arena, and there's the Sweet Revenge, the Lemieux, the jersey, the stick, whatever like that. If you look at my jersey there, you'll see, because my sleeves used to be cut shorter, and they used to be friggin' draping like this, so a guy would grab, and I could get my elbow pads out.
I put your gloves on my first training camp.
And Mac, I want to go back.
My
to
gloves
I don't
used to
wanna
be
wear
cut.
those gloves anymore.
Slits, those things were off.
I couldn't keep them on my hand.
Yeah.
I would skate with my stick sometimes and they'd fall off.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they were that.
oh,
I used to cut the slits in them so they would dangle off.
They're in.
I could punch you. I could drop my gloves and hit you before the gloves would even. I'd hit you twice before both gloves hit the ice.
They're on the mantle up in Aspen, Colorado.
I love
my
it.
buddies fucking grow up there.
Nice, as they should be.
Yeah.
As they should.
Well, I want to go back to you said the Rob Ray rule, which I'm
Rob Ray.
a
Rob Ray
handful
was a tough guy in Buffalo who couldn't play. Was tough, but used to, every time he get in a fight, he'd get naked, like in less than a second. Like it would take me 2 seconds. But he'd do it less than a second. 2 seconds was fine. I could do it. But tell me, like, because we thought the same way, being lefties, and we were movers, and like you said, you know, how many did we avoid? Because never really getting hit solid. Yeah, I got my nose broke 7 times, but you can tell it's from the right side. Right, where we were bobbers, weavers, movers, and stuff like that.
My favorite example in that situation, you know, my brother's 6'4", plays at 230.
Right,
he's
solid.
Hopefully, he's not 250 now. but you know, he's coached Kalamazoo K-Wings for 11 years. Great dude.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But he wouldn't fight me in pro hockey. I mean, obviously, my niece is watching,
right?
So he doesn't want to go home with a fucking black eye or a
cut.
But he knew you're left-handed. He had to take some.
Yeah.
You know, it took me a long time to realize what the fuck he was thinking, but you know what I mean? I'm begging. I'm like, bro, let's get in the hockey news, man. They fucking put the brother fights in, and Wayne Primo, let's go. At Larry Lindros, you know, he wouldn't fucking do it. I get monkey arms, Van Allen Arena for 5 minutes of a shift, you know, but his daughter was there and his wife was there, and it's because guys wouldn't fight me anymore, and I'm 200 pounds soaking fucking wet.
Right.
You know, like I was.
It's because it's the same thing as they
know
that they're coming out of there with something.
You're gonna get hit.
And the difference between you and I is like, yeah. I mean, I tell everybody, hey, I bleed like a sieve. It's actually good, but my head's cement. I could take a punch.
Oh fuck yeah.
You know that I've learned that early. It's not like I'm out there to do it, but I know I can, and that's the difference between guys that would do it. It's like we're like
you don't even know, bro. I was begging for a fight my last like fucking 4 or 5 years.
Oh yeah,
3 years, like you know.
But the game changed. So you talk about that from your aspect, because I got out and like right at it was the perfect. It was like the game was changing. So that's like 10 years ago, and you played in the minors, and you said you're begging for a fight 5 years. You know, you go play Austria. Austria, right?
Oh fuck yeah.
How was that?
Country club. That was a joke. Come with the sniffles, and you got to go home. Like begging guys, like in a fight just to go on vacation because they were on the road. I go to Spain for 5 days. You know, like it was a country club. It was too much of a country club for me. I couldn't. I would rather go back and fight in the coast than go over there and fucking float around in circles on fucking.
That says something, doesn't it?
Ice rink the sizes of friggin' football fields.
I get it. I played on one in Belleville.
Yeah, well, so I never scored in Belleville.
I got a lot there.
You know, I go to Austria and score for the first fucking 10 games, and then, you know, the old Quebec Nordiques coach, what the fuck was his name? I can't remember his name now, but he's old dirty half German. Quebec Nordiques got into it with Ron Hextall when he was the coach. Yeah, fuck, I wish I remember his name.
Oh my God, yeah,
I can't. He's a legend. This coach, he got like kicked out because of Hextall. Like, so he took over in Red Bull Salzburg, and he was my coach over there. Good. I mean, yeah, I can't say it, but he was a coach. But, you know, going over there and just my first penalty was 2 minutes for hitting too hard. And they had me on the board in a jail cell. Number 47, Darryl Boolin, 2 minutes for hitting too hard. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, I hit a kid with a cage on. I didn't know you weren't supposed to hit those kids. You were supposed to hit the kids with the no cage, right? But yeah, I guess they let young kids out there and play pro hockey.
Yeah. Hey, the hitters know what is ring at. You can't go in your own zone.
Yeah, don't hit.
Yeah, you know, when you guys talk about that, I didn't tell you this earlier, but you're almost like a virtual guest speaker at what I taught at Indiana University and Northern State, because I play Honor and Courage to one of my classes on like law and ethics, and we literally go through like the different guys. You know, Eric Cairns is in there, and Ian LePerrier, and you. And when you guys are talking about the role of it, I actually like this video really explains, you know, a lot of the culture and stuff, and a lot of that's really changed lately. You know, because that video, unfortunately, isn't really the way it kind of is anymore, right?
There's no rookies
the rules
anymore.
have changed, and
It's
yeah, it's a
fucking
lot
changed.
different.
Kidding me?
Right, exactly. Well,
But I love showing that, you know, because it's like it's not just about like just beating somebody up. I mean, sometimes I guess it is, but most of the time it's about like
no,
you know,
there's
the jersey.
something behind it. There's
it's about the
it's
team,
a
all that
strategy.
stuff,
It's a
yeah.
bigger piece of the puzzle, and a lot of time, you know, and here's
brotherhood.
The whole, and here's the whole thing. What you realize, right? And I'm the first one to admit it. When I was younger and you know crazier, one speed off, one speed on, you're going like that. It was fun. I mean, it was like who, you know, everybody, and it was great. Then, you know, but the reality of it is, I realized that it wasn't that I loved doing it as much as I hated more anybody else to have to do it. It was one of the right. My fear or hate of anybody else having to do that dirty work, right? That was my job. That was my responsibility. You know what I mean? I don't want to do it. I don't want to fight this guy, but I don't want you to fight him more.
Yeah,
you know, like that's the team, because that's the one thing, Booter.
You only told me once not to fight somebody.
Right.
I got the picture on my phone. It's pretty ugly. You told me not to fight Reed Simpson.
Yeah.
And then old Nate Robinson, little African fella, he started chirping him, and they were going at it. And then, sure enough, I stepped in, and I hit him 3 times, and he looked at me and said, "Is that all you got?" And then he punched me 6 times, and I had 6 stitches here, here, and here, and here. And I was on my knees looking at this old lady in the glass in Joe Louis Arena, and she's like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "I'm okay." And then my face goes, and it explodes on the mirror or on the glass. Yeah, and I'm like, "I'm still okay. I'm still okay."
But the fact.
Thanks for that. Thanks for telling me not to do it. Thanks, Nate Robinson, you piece of shit.
There you go.
Yeah.
But the fact is,
He started
like
it, but I didn't want him to do it,
right?
Because
that's your role.
Because you told me not to do it. So if he did it, he was really
he
screwed.
would have been dead.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is it's sacrifice, because that's the one thing about you, Booter, is that no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, and I beat the
you're
shit out of that.
You're a legend. Hey, dude, you are loved, and you are the teammate that everybody, because you're about the team and you're about the guys and everything. Everywhere you go, you leave the Booter stank behind, because
it's stanky, but it's good, bro.
It's good stank, kid. It's good stank.
How many rings do you have?
I got 3. I mean, I'm proud to say it took me.
What was the best part? Like, or was tough to ask. When people ask me what's, and I say they're kids, and they all have the storyline. But get some of the different storylines, because you know our storyline, me scoring the first 42 years, then the Vladdy, then the Hall of Fame team, then the comeback. But for you, you're the 3. How do they different?
I mean, obviously, like your first goal in the NHL, I should have had bigger goals. I always told myself I wanted 1 goal in the NHL, and I literally I only have 1. So
but you got one. Who'd you score on?
I should have had bigger goals. I mean, I bought Ty Conklin a beer at the bar after.
Was he in Edmonton?
It was pretty embarrassing. I was 2nd star, only NHL star ever.
Okay, you had one. You had one. Tell me about the goal.
It was a game winner.
Tell me about it.
I'm just saying, but
in home or away?
It was in Joe Louis Arena, and I got the VHS at home.
I like it.
I don't know if I could find
Where was Conklin? I got 2.
So it was Edmonton.
Edmonton.
But I was with Draper and Maltz on the line. You know, Mac breaks his back, and you know I think it was like my 7th or 8th game in a row at the time, and yeah, it was pretty embarrassing because you know we went on 2 forecheck, and you know the 2D, these big lanky shitbags from Edmonton on the 4th line or third set of D, whatever, and you know they're trying to pass it to each other, and they both kind of like fuck it, and Conklin comes sliding out of the net and slides and dives for the puck, and Draper comes over and kind of bumps into the other D, and everybody's falling on the ground, and I wheel up, just fucking stupid me, and just the puck's there, right? So I backhand it. This is my only backhand goal ever. And it rolled up on Conklin's leg, and it rolled down his pad, and it gets to the goal line, and Draper's standing on the goal line waiting for the fucking puck to cross. And he's looking at the D, like waiting for them to get up, waiting for Conklin to get up, and great man Draper, ratted on me a few times, but great man. He let the puck cross the line, and I'm fucking 20 years old. I'm celebrating in the corner. I'm fucking like a rock star in the corner. Well, Schneider comes in. He fucking headbutts me in the fucking head, and I'm leaking blood. And he looks at me and he's like, my first one was this one-timer from the point. Like Schneider,
that's what he said?
Yeah.
What
and
a
I'm
dick.
like, fucking French guy, you ain't fucking with me today, but it's like, it's my day. I don't give a fuck, And Dad hooked me up with one of the hottest girls I ever met back then. And it's a shout out to Coach Bootlin. My brother Nick's on speakerphone right now. Suck it. But
what up, Nick?
We'll call you later.
I thought that was Drapes calling you.
No, Drapes don't have my number. Yeah, he saw my reef shoes with a bottle opener on them. You fucking used those more than me this summer, didn't you, Booter? Hey, yeah, good to see you. Fucking never, Drapes. But yeah, he threw me under the bus a few times. But good man, good hockey player.
Absolutely. Hey, did you watch the British Open at all?
I did, yes.
Did you watch it, Perry?
The very end of it.
What'd you think? See, because that's like I was getting back to
all
Tom before. Hey, that's when everything in the world, is right. Like St. Louis winning. Well, when the Irishman wins in Ireland after so many years with all the political, it's like have you seen the Russian Five?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen it, Booter?
Oh yeah.
See
yeah.
that's the whole thing. Like talking about the Russian Five. Those are, the way that the culturally the way of the world and everything is right when stuff like that happens, And then look brought you guys here and everything like that. But if you ever, this is for you and everybody out there, Grind Time with Darren McCarty. If you ever want to golf, Cattails Golf Club in South Lyon, 18-hole championship course. Former home of the LPGA Futures Tour and the Michigan Amateur Qualifier. Front nine. Perry, a lot of golf balls. Perry, it's grassy, wetlands. On the back, some trees. It's beautiful. But this is where the Grind Time family, yes, our family golfs. And you too can golf. Anytime during the week, Monday to Friday. Use the Grind Time with Darren McCarty. $25, 18 holes with a cart. That's a deal. Anywhere. Remember,
yes.
Mention the Grind Time family. That's Cattails Golf Course. I believe on 9 Mile in South Lyon. We'll see you there soon. And remember,
And it is on 9
you
Mile.
like that, though? I went radio on you. But, and keep this date, guys, because we'll be announcing something soon. Is September 22nd is a Sunday. We are doing a Grind Time golf outing from Cattails, obviously. So, obviously, with that, the next, let's see, when's our, next Wednesday's show, I will be, I will announce our guests. I'm working on guests. I'm working on musical guest, which means what, Perry?
The studio needs McCool.
Well, McCool needs to find out where Travis is at through Mike.
Okay.
To find out if that's applicable
Well, that's why
to
I'm going
bring
to
the
McCool.
band in. To bring the band in next week, because I'd like to have a musical guest. Just a little FYI. So you Raw reunion?
What'd you think? Did you, it's thrown together.
Right. No, I loved it because if you looked at the end, see, for me it was all about Stone Cold.
Yep.
Okay, I don't care what you say. It was all about me seeing Stone Cold and the fact that what he did and how he came out and the fact that he said and he kept it real, off script and real life, who he was as far as what the coach told him. Like that's why I always love Stone Cold. It's just the guy he is and the way that he kept it real and the way that he kept it real. These are my brothers, blood, sweat, and tears for years on the road with those guys because the wrestling guy, dude, you see him all over. You see him everywhere. I mean, that's a tough gig. So at the end, what really blew me away is to see all those and to see him call out Farouk
And to see them, you know what I mean, about how they were drinking and how Ric Flair hitting the story. Because that shows me just, that's why I wanted to tying this up. It's sort of like the reunion here, being able to catch up with Booter and stuff like that through all whatever.
It's Brett Hall standing there drinking friggin' booze at the Stanley Cup Blues Championship. That's what it is.
Dude,
right?
it is,
right?
isn't it?
What's that?
Because that's come full circle, and that's what the game is. And couldn't be happier for him or for that. So to hear him at the end and the way that he did the whatever his new beer is.
Yeah, the
Steve
Skull Island
I call
or whatever.
Steve Weiser's or any. But the genuine thank you to everybody, and the genuine because to each other. That's the big thing, to see like him and Triple H hug, and to see like the guys like, because I rewind it and I watch it, because I'm not watching when the actions, I'm watching when everybody's out there, who's talking to who's like, you know, messing with who, and it's like the vibe of, hey, yeah, they like each other. They got, and maybe they had their issues, but I mean, they felt like that dysfunctional family they thought they were.
Yeah, and you actually took the words right out of my mouth. We didn't talk about it beforehand, but the word I was going to use is he was genuine as can be out there, and talking about how he saw Ron Simmons on the elevator, and they go, damn. Yeah, it's Farouk. It's every character. And I don't know if you saw this, but after Raw went off the air, because now they go off right at 11 o'clock.
Well, because they got the Miz and Misses.
Yep. Good show, actually. I don't know if you've seen it.
It actually has drawn me into liking
The Miz.
The Miz.
Yep.
He was like I love Roman Reigns, like as far as they're always because of the people's champ sort of thing. But The Miz has everything about because he's got heel yet
he's a likable dude.
Him.
Yeah,
he's like The Rock.
Yep.
He's got that Rock, and it's almost like a Jericho, but it's more of a likability of a Rock. Where
when a heel becomes a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, they
that's
love
a tough thing
the
to
heel.
do.
Yes, 100%.
And especially to get a TV series out of it, that shows that.
Well, and his wife Maurice. Oh my goodness, check her out.
Well, she's
Like,
French Canadian.
Damn.
Oh my
She's
goodness.
French Canadian.
Not Listen,
Stone Cold stayed out there in the middle of the ring. Everybody left. He stood out there. He gave the middle finger to everybody. He kept slamming brews, and he kept entertaining. But you could see that meant everything because it was getting the band back together. I assume that's how it is when, like, you and my man Booter, I got it, Booter.
Booger.
Yeah. Connected right away. Went back to where you guys last left off in hockey.
You missed it because it started at the rink. When I look at the glass, I'm like, what the fuck? Daryl Boolin? Like standing on the other side of the glass before. So we got the, and it's right back to last time you saw or whatever.
Clowning around, doing the same old shit that you used to do.
No chirp on Jason Woolley is a beauty, and he taught me a lot when he was in Grand Rapids for his weeks, and I learned a lot from him. You know what I mean? But our, conversation goes, hey, hi, yeah, see ya, good to see you. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's hugging it out with Mac. It's fucking...
For sure.
But it's
a
just
fraternity that you're there forever, and you guys are always going to be connected because you guys did something that the 1% are ever going to get to do.
Yeah, because it's the shit that we don't tell you.
100%. and so the grind that you guys go through day in and day out, preparing to be at the highest of levels, that's where these dudes are.
All the shit you don't see, bro.
Yep, they
all
bust
the shit,
their ass.
The same thing was why I tell Booty, you tell everybody why. And about, okay, in your opinion, just the hockey-wise, about Steve Yzerman coming back as GM to the Detroit Red Wings, what will that mean for this organization and for this team?
I mean, there's no words on what that guy can do for you. Like, I mean, him walking into the locker room, I've never seen a captain that didn't have to talk.
Yeah, like explain, because and explain to him how much he picked on me.
Well, I mean, you and I were easy fucking times.
I know, but
you left, they picked up me.
Of course he did, because he didn't know I was gone, because you were there for a while, and then he looked, that's not 25, it's 27. Shit, oh, hi, Daryl, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
you'll be Darren now.
Yes,
pretty much. But it's the stuff that you come in and say that behind, it's because...
Well, and to his credit, like, I haven't talked to him, I had a great moment in St. Paul. For me, it was best one of top two of my life when a guy's chirping him or staring at him in the bar, and and making Stevie uncomfortable. And this is the one time I've ever seen Stevie at a bar. And I'm, on the road, and this guy comes up, and and it got close, and I fucking jumped in my moment, and I elbowed the guy in the throat and dropped him, and security came over and took him out, and I got Stevie's number that night.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm not
You were
kidding.
hey, I wasn't there. You
and
were
that was
doing
better
it.
than any girl that you could have got, right?
Like Drapes, everybody at the bar, Mark, Chelly's like, what the fuck? Like, these guys were mind blown that I got this guy's phone number, but I texted
He's
him.
going around going, how do you like dumb apples?
Yeah, suck it, boys. Yeah, 6.5 minutes a game. Fucking suck it. Right? But, I texted him a year ago when he's working with Tampa, or 2 years ago when he's in Tampa and I'm in Orlando, and I'm like, Stevie, long shot here, but, Daryl Bootland, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for work with the hockey world, want to give back what the game's given to me. And he texts me back, 4 or 5 hours later, I might have ruined it when I said, hey, Stevie Y just texted me back and I got a boner to my buddy.
Yeah, probably.
No, I noticed he grabbed
See the fine line. See the fine line.
Yeah.
It's a
I texted my buddy Steve that, so it was Stevie Y, but wrong Steve, eh? Yeah. So I'm not working for Tampa. Long story short.
That's it. But aren't you lucky, Tom? More ambitions,
Me and
hockey.
you, buddy. Me and you, baby.
Hey,
Tom,
Rockstar
I'm working
tomorrow,
with Roar.
Rockstar.
Bobby
Kids
used to
can't
be my
wait.
agent for a year, eh? Now I'm working with Tom. Now I'm working with Tom.
Hey, Eiserman, though, I teach a sport leadership class, and I educate people on how awesome.
So educate the list. Okay.
No, there's a book
perspective.
called Of Ice and Men. It's pretty awesome. It talks a little bit about him. And he is just it's transformational. You talk about him just as a leader in general. We hockey players don't always get the front page. You're going to ask, yeah.
No, I was going to ask for you, from your being in your hockey experience, from all you as Tom, or when I asked you the same question, what does it mean for the Detroit Red Wings organization and their fan base to have Steve Yzerman back, and speak on it from the leadership? Because my big thing is, the culture's back. It doesn't mean wins or losses, and what do I mean by the culture? Well, the parent or the relative that comes into the house when the door opens, it's them, and everybody sort of might act a little bit, sit up a little bit straighter, or, act a little bit more right because of the respect, or maybe a little bit, there's a different fear, but you don't want to let him down, right? That's what, you don't want to let him down.
Yeah, and you think instantly, there's going to be an extended window here where he's going to have an opportunity to succeed. And I think as a leader, that's, what he needs. I think you'll have some consistency there. His principles, his values, setting the culture. It's I think what's going to reinforce, an eventual, turnaround really. And I think in a lot of ways there's some good talent there. But I think, just being a leader that can be there every day. You talk about coaching philosophies. We talk about this, and actually one of our big goals when we coach kids is hey, we want you to play, until you're 80 years old if you can, because the sport is great. We want you to maybe coach some other kids, right? So when it really comes to, leadership and what he can do, I think it's a lot of that. It's really reinforcing the culture and making sure they stay on one path. You don't okay, here's some criticism this way. Well, let's trade this guy. Okay, now we're too big. Okay, well, let's trade this guy. And you just you make too many trades, and you lose your butt on that stuff. I think a lot of it is, loyalty, consistency, and long-term leadership instead of what can I do to get my next job.
So
that's even university administrators,
right.
What can I do to my next job versus, hey, I have a job I love, like Steve Yzerman. This is my dream job. I'm going to look long-term. And I think as long as people are patient, he's going to be very, very successful. And I think that's a huge difference.
And I think what you have, and I think you find this, and you could touch on this, but you know what? It's combining the old and the new. And it's right, you can't be all old and you can't be all new, but there's finding the hybrid combination of both. And you know what? There's no better guy, because the thing is, because he wants it so bad. He's the one that you're going to drive by, and you know why? Because he's going to be, if he needs to put 20 hours in, he will. And that's the thing, is he's Booter, is he not? He's the one that you look in the training room, he's riding the bike, and you're like, and I'm not on that bike. Why? Right? It just automatically makes you want to work harder because he's doing everything in his power. So
Yeah, I like that old and young blend. You know, even at our hockey camps. You know, Booter and I are doing a lot of the demos, playing goalie sometimes. We got some young guys there that are, you know, hey, what they're doing is cool. You know, we kind of all reinforce that. So it's always, you know, a blending of the old and the young together. A good softball team is that way. We need some young guys to run down the ball. We need some old guys to keep the guys sober for the morning, or at least relatively that way. You know, you kind of gotta have some leadership.
That's why you're a good coach, right? Tom. That is unbelievable.
Key to softball, ASA. You know?
So Tom, I've got, you know, like both you and Daryl, how much value you think for the younger kids now with the Wings, when a guy like Darren, retired 10, 11 years now, walks in the locker room,
Fucking
comes in
10.
four-time Stanley, right? Four-time Stanley Cup champion though, right? Comes walking in the locker room. Hey,
fucking
you know,
smartest thing he said tonight. All right, Alan,
well, can I
done.
finish?
I'm done. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, like from you as a player, and then Tom is a psychologist, or you know, just the impact.
College professor.
College professor.
Plays a psychologist in the classes, but
yeah. Well, if you're hanging around him, you guys can play a lot of different roles. But no, go ahead. So Daryl, I mean, you know, what's the impact?
For me, I mean, like just to watch it, like obviously, cup of coffee for me in the NHL and playing a you know a great pro career and enjoyed every minute of it. But for what like Tom's side of it brings into this, so these coaching camps for Prohibitions, you know, I've had multiple coaches and some great and some good and some bad, but I've never learned so much in 3 days of my life. You know what I mean? So just to listen and to see it by a guy that's been doing it and who's studied it and who's educated has been amazing for me, just because I'm doing the same shit as him. I'm doing the same stuff. Maybe I'm not thinking I'm doing it for the same reasons, because, you know, he's a fucking genius in my mind. But, you know, you forget high school after, you know, about 100 fights, you know, wait till 360, you know. So I get it, you know, but it like reinforced that I'm doing a good job and a great job. So for me, for him to be here this week has been absolutely amazing. Like, I mean, the Chris Delaney shout out, we both know him, you know, Mike Minineri, all these coaches I've had with Prohibitions have been great and been good guys, but like, I mean, just to see it come out of his mouth, the psychiatrist, the professor way, and then like I'll sit there and I'll say something, you know, and I'll jump in, and then, you know what I mean, I can see him like we're both doing the same shit, but it's like a professor's mind. And I might not be a graduate, I might not be a professor, and you know, my wife thinks I'm a fucking 10-year-old, but when it comes to life and because of my hockey education, I don't have an education. I got my high school diploma as a birthday present from a correspondence teacher I knew. You know, like, fuck me. But my mom made me get it, so, you know, whatever. I did what I got to do, catch up sail and catch a popsicle, you know. I did what I had to do. But to get that education from being a pro hockey player, from all these different college fuckheads, they sat me beside every European in every room I was ever in because I could explain it to them. Not because I could speak. I could swear in Czech and German and French and, you know, Tabernac and Scheisse, and I could say it all in Euro, but I could just get it to them in the fucking Canadian way, in the way the world should fucking go. And I'm not fucking a wisdom professor, but my education as a hockey player, you know, started at the top and now I'm here. And it's legit. Bro. It's not even, and even it is like a fucking education. And it is, because I'm one of the best salesmen in the world. I'm one of the greatest people person ever. I can make anybody's fucking day. Give me 5 minutes, you know. Give me 5 minutes, I can make your day or get you naked, you know. Like that's how I rolled.
Some things never change, brother.
I mean, don't go changing on me, Mox, but you know, but like it's just it's the way of life, and to people that try to say, oh, you could have played fucking 1,000 games in the show, or you could have done this, but fuck, what I learned with what I dealt with, and the way the world works now, and I'm fucking way happier with my education and with my life than anybody could, and you know, I work my fucking tail off. I got 3 kids, and I love my wife.
Speak about that.
Yeah, life's amazing.
13-year-old stepson and 2 daughters.
13-year-old boy named Trace Riley. He's amazing. He's taught me everything about life because he's not me. Right. You know, right. He's a different boy, and he loves his. I mean, he's not a different boy, but he's different than me as a boy, and I was the what are girls doing when I was 8 years old? I learned to skate because my ditch would freeze over, and I could skate to the farmer's fucking house, and it was a half a mile away. My brother would push me for 4 years old, and he's like, I'm not pushing you over to this girl's house anymore, So I learned to skate to go see a girl. My son don't like girls. He's 13, I was a man at 12, if you know what I'm saying. I was a young learner. I had a fucking chin strap at 14, I had a beard, I was a different kid, but he's just taught me so much. And
What about the girls?
So grateful to have him. But the girls are
How old
me.
are they?
They're me, man. They're 6 and 2, and I'm screwed. So pretty.
Oh, the old paybacks.
Yeah, obviously mom's a fucking rocket, so I'm screwed. I mean, they're me, man. It's mind-blowing, boys. You young hockey players out there, you grinders that are young, be a good man. That's
Uncle Daryl Boolin out there.
Yeah,
Hey,
Uncle Daryl. Yeah,
back.
I got boy, nephew, because my brother was a good man. Like it's life. It's gonna get you some fucking hell. I'm sorry, but
and you just gotta, like we always say, it's not easy. Life is good. It's not easy. Everything you get, you gotta work hard for. So, well, guys, I want to say thank you, Tom Orr from Pro Ambitions Hockey. How do people? Is their website or?
Yeah, www.proambitions.com. It's
and how many,
big on the East Coast.
How many professors say www still?
Camps do you do each summer?
I personally do about 5. It keeps me kind of young enough, kind of a nice break from being a professor. Teach back to your question. Teaching some confidence, things like that to these young men. Kind of what we said when I briefly met. You thought we had maybe 5 to 8 minutes to talk, and I kind of said, what we do is really important. It's something passed on from. I've had some talks with Gordie Howe and Bobby Hall and. You and a lot of other people, and it's really important what you can reach out and do. A lot of these kids have like little to no confidence, and I talk about labeling theory and be positive and
like I learn every day.
So I mean, it's just fun to get a chance to kind of go around there and travel and try to help some kids. You run into some really good people and some people that need a little help, and having guys like Daryl that just have the energy and excitement to teach really good things through hockey. Jeff even has a saying that we save souls in hockey. And we do that a lot of times with again just making some connections there. And I know you guys were talking earlier about like suicide. I had a good friend that that happens too, and if you can make some impact and let people know that there's a lot of people that love you and you're just kind of passing on to somebody else. So I mean, just some of the things that we can do, little messages. Don't say the R word in the locker room. I mean, just little things like that. So it's a lot of fun doing it.
I love it. It takes special people to do it, but it's awesome because that's Daryl said. How can I give back? Giving it back and. Yeah. Hey, should I keep this? Hey, wait a sec. Reese is making me hold you here. Hey, I think Booter's doing the pee-pee dance in the chair. I might hold him off for about 5 seconds longer.
Talk about life. It all comes around in the end, Reese. You fucker.
I'll say, yeah, exactly. I'll come back around in the end. I'm going to let Booter go on that. That's the way I'll get him off the mic. So, anything else to add, Perry?
If you wanted to mention that.
Oh, yeah. Guys, remember a couple episodes ago, Buddy Damon Johnson, August 30th, Token Lounge. That's in Westland?
It's in Westland. Yeah,
Token Lounge in Westland, Friday, August 30th. Damon's bringing his band, and Billy and I from Grindr will be doing a few songs. We got 3 picked out already. So look forward to doing that. I'll be in Plainfield August 2nd with Kevin Zioli. I don't know where, but somewhere. Check out Darren McCarty Slapstick Comedy Tour. And anybody who's wondering about all that stuff, DarrenMcCarty.com. Things will be up. Where are we at? I think within like next week or so, we'll be able to start filling. Yeah, we'll keep you up to date. We're on it if you haven't seen it.
Do you want to show what that is? Because
this?
No, the fist. Because what it's been just showing is just the top part. That's why I was moving.
It's my Herbal Active Red Wing finger. Hey, these are my blade shades. They're actually not bad. They're pretty good.
But on the video, the only thing is you see the top part.
Just the tip.
Just the tip, baby. Just the tip. All right, Booter. Have fun the rest of the time in town, buddy.
Hey,
thanks.
Always
a fucking pleasure, man. I love you, kid.
Bro. Since
I
day
love you.
one, brother, you taught me a lot, and and took care of me. I tell you, I had some good times watching the old Grinder and some great times with you. So I appreciate you and appreciate you bringing Tom out. Obviously,
and like you said, now it's our, like you said, whatever capacity, it's our job to make sure that not only if we can help prevent in whatever capacity, not only the next generation to influence them, but also too like guys like that have been there and done that, to know that it's okay and somewhere to reach out.
Just goes to show all those people in Michigan that are thinking about giving me a job. Like, I'm smart enough to bring someone smarter than me. Right?
That's it, Boot. You always are the man of many jobs.
Do you have a website they can reach at?
I mean, Bootland27 at Yahoo.com.
It's not www.
No, I'm not a professor yet.
Just throw me an email. Bootland27 at Yahoo.com.
On the Pony Express.
Well, thanks again, guys. Tom Orr, Daryl Bootland, Bam Bam, McCool, Perry Vellucci. That's another episode of Grind Time with Darren McCarty. And you know what, Booty? You know what I always tell everybody? No matter how many times you fall down, you have to, you must. It's a unbelievable thing, but you got to get your ass back up. That's Grind Time. We're out.